what Chris is talking about is cellular recall. Something can happen 25 years ago. You can think about the person. The inside of the body does not know that it's not happening right now. It goes right back to it. It's as if it is happening now. Boom! You are like in it. You are not in an emotion. You are in a reaction. So the greatest gift you give to yourself is that you become aware. I'm in a reaction. This is where it's illogical. How do we get off the story? We're not going to think about it. We're just going to be with it. That's when you do your breath work. That's when you go general. That's when you say, what do I know? I'm having a moment here. All things work out for me. I'm not even remotely attending to, I have to get into an emotion. I have to let go of this person. Because what happens is when, it's 2 years later and you think about that person and you're like, damn it, I didn't let it go. That's another story. That's another story that you're telling.
Right.
Yeah.
My master the obvious.
It's another story. So we have to break the habit of telling the story and trying to think our way into moving from, reactions to emotions. Always pulling it back into the body. Always pulling it back into the body. And the first several times, hundreds of times that you do this, it isn't going to make sense to you and you're going to be like, what am I doing? No stories, guys. Go general. That's why I have invited you, please do daily practices, because when you do a daily practice, these moments where we need to call upon them instinctually, intuitively, they'll just come flooding in. You won't have to think like, well, what do I do now? Am I supposed to be in emotion? You're going to think, and then you're going to tell a story. Just do the daily practices. And what do I hear from folks all the time? They get into some situations and they're like, well, and I'll say, you doing your daily practices? And they're like, well, everything was okay. That's when we let them go. Or, it was so awful I didn't have time to do them. It's one or the other. And I'm like, I don't care whether you don't have time or it was okay. Do it. It's like saying, today I'm not going to drink water. You can do it. It's not a good idea. What I'm going to remind you of is that eventually, as we continue to expand, you're going to understand that daily practices and rituals will no longer be necessary. You will just intuitively know how to call upon certain things effortlessly without having to think about it. It's like how you all drove here. Did you say right foot, press brake? Were you, totally focused on, I must go like this to turn the wheel? And no, you did it effortlessly because you've practiced so much. That's why I am an initial stickler for daily practices, because eventually you don't have to do any of them. You'll just call them in with your frequency and you'll have a boatload of resources available to you. Does this make sense? You see how we kind of have to build upon this? It takes time to get into these conversations so that we can be with it. You know what I mean?